Join me on a journey to Mount Zion, where the earliest Christian community gathered and became the cradle of the church. From the upper room to ancient mikveot, discover the zone that many scholars consider the place where Jesus held his last Passover and where the apostles received the Holy Spirit for the first time. I first walked the zone in 1981 while attending Jerusalem University College. Back then, it was little more than a latrine, overrun by dangerous loiterers. Who could have imagined that this filthy, neglected slope of Mount Zion would one day reveal itself as the cradle of the church? These early sites have a particular authenticity. Selected on the basis of stable local memory, they have topographic plausibility, but there is little first-century architecture left behind. The modern synagogue housed here is erroneously thought to be David's tomb. Some scholars propose that these precincts were the original church synagogue of the apostles and early Jewish Christians, which is compelling. Of particular interest is the Torah niche, which they claim is oriented in line with the Holy Sepulchre instead of the temple. And this ancient eastern wall actually is comprised of ashlars from the Herodian period. Let's head over to this ancient Herodian east side of the wall, which is not very noticeable to passers-by. The cemetery, commissioned by Ottoman ruler Suleiman the Magnificent, gave the care of the complex to the Dajani family, and they still live in the homes surrounding the site. This part of the eastern wall of the building has Herodian elements, which survived the many destructions of Jerusalem. Retracing our steps back to the upper room, early and rapid monumentalization of the area took place. The Hagia Sion was a 4th to 5th century octagonal Byzantine basilica, and it stood immediately adjacent to the traditional upper room. Many early churches had this shape, clearly anchoring Christian sacred memory. The present upper room from the Crusader period is decorated with graceful arches and pelican columns. The space later became a mosque. Modern pilgrims still like to sing hymns, which echo off these historic chambers. In a space like this, the Lord gathered with his disciples. Flames of fire appeared over them as they received the Holy Spirit on Shavuot, Pentecost. The rooftop view reveals the entire area. Pilgrims from the 4th century onward testified to the geographic coherence of this living tradition. From the testimony of Egeria, or Cyril of Jerusalem, they proclaimed Mount Zion as the sacred space of the upper room and as the gathering place of the first Christian community. Combined with geographic and architectural continuity, these testimonies give this area the same level of rare authenticity as the Holy Sepulchre, the Church of the Nativity, and the Eliona Church on the Mount of Olives. By the way, there is a very early mosaic in the apse of the oldest basilica in Rome. The family of Pudens, who is mentioned in 2 Timothy, were wealthy aristocrats. This church at Santa Pudenziania marked the family home and is remarkable for what is thought to be a depiction of Mount Zion and the upper room complex. Let's leave the upper room and head over to the modern church of the Dormition. It was built over some of the ruins of the Hagia Sion Byzantine complex. These ruins are so rare, preserving the memory of ancient structures and hinting where perhaps early Jewish Christians may have lived, walked, and worshipped. Finding mikveot from the Second Temple period in this zone is significant. It's possible that Jewish Christians in the 1st century Jerusalem used existing ritual baths or mikveot on Mount Zion. These rock-cut pools, originally designed for Jewish ritual purification, were a practical option for baptism by immersion. Geographically, Caiaphas's house is nearby, and the ancient steps still lead down the slope to access the Garden of Gethsemane on Jesus' final night before the cross. Mount Zion sits at the heart of Jerusalem's sacred geography. It's more than a single building or tomb. It is a zone, from the upper room to Mikveot, from David's tomb to the terraces overlooking the Hinnom and Kidron valleys. This area preserves layers of sacred memory, ritual practice, and community life. It is here, in this very slope, that the church was born, a living intersection of geography, memory, and faith.